Hey, what's going on, boys? So a lot of people have been hitting me up for 8.24B tier list. It's been a while since I've done a tier list, so a lot of champions have shifted around. There's actually a lot of talk about Nico coming into the mix. Lots of buffs, lots of nerfs, a lot of shit to talk about, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so firstly, the disclaimer for the mechanical difficulty, guys. Please, if you're a lower elo player with high ping, bad mechanics, do not pick a red champion. Pick a green or a blue. If you're a mechanical beast with low ping, you know that you're very mechanical, you can go for those reds, but also don't be afraid to go for the greens and just look to practice on your map, control your wave management, the smaller things of the gameplay that isn't down to mechanics, alright? So heading into it now, we're going to look at the S tier mids, the god tiers. We got the Kassadin. I think even though Kassadin's still like the tiniest fucking nerf, I think the champion is still super broken. I think he has a lot of good matchups right now in the mid lane. He can get a free laning phase scale. 2-3 items, Kassadin's going to run rampant on literally on the entire map. I like to split push right now. I even like to go for the tower demolish, which I think is a really good rune if you're into something like a poke matchup, like an Orianna or something. I'll run that. I'll hit the side lane with 2 items. Just literally like 3-shot the towers with that, and it's fucking absurd how much pressure you can put on a side lane. Next up, we have Aatrox. I think Aatrox, even though he's been seeing some nerfs, he's been going through a lot of like ups and downs right now, the smite being taken away from him. I think right now Aatrox is still fucking god tier. He literally is like a very safe blind pick. Almost has no bad matchups, and even with the bad matchups, it's survivable. You're gonna team fight better. I think this champion is definitely a go-to right now in the mid lane if you're looking for something that's like mindless and that can give you consistent results. Moving down now to the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia rose up because of the Q-Max. A lot of people notice the Q-Max with the Ludens is super strong for team fights. You can poke out opponents and it's super safe to play. You can kind of play from a longer range without having to use your E that often. But it did see a nerf on this patch, the Q-Max. So I think Q-Max is still viable, but I also think E-Max is also viable. I think it's situational and like matchup dependent on if you're going to Q-Max or if you're going to E-Max and your builds. Right now I'm still working it out, but I think the numbers don't lie. This champion's super strong and abusable on 8.24B. Next up is Gallo, which a lot of people are going to be surprised with. Gallo's been off the radar for a while now, but on this patch his numbers were slightly buffed. And also a lot of his counterparts were nerfed. So we've seen Gallo picked up by all the pro mids right now. He's definitely an S tier in pro play. In SoloQ play, also very good. I think that the champion's super strong. Mainly because of like just his learning curve is so easy. 5 to 10 games, simple mechanics. You're going to be 5 to 10 games and you'll be popping off on this champion with a high win rate already. You can get really consistent results. You're actually going full AP damage right now. You get like a Proto Belt, Morello, Hourglass, Deathcap, Void Staff, maybe a Leandry's chucked in there. This champion with full AP actually can like 1v9. It's a super strong champion. Don't think, oh my god, this champion doesn't do damage, you can't carry, because you can. I'm going to be doing a VOD review of the world's best Gallo this week, so watch out for that if you're looking to pick up this champion. So lastly for my S tier is Leblanc. Now, I was pretty close to actually putting Leblanc in the A tiers. I think that Leblanc is just a tier above the champions like Akali and Aurelia, just because of the mobility and consistency you can get on this mage. Once you've worked out the numbers, I think the champion's still fine. We saw a couple of small nerfs to the W. It's honestly not enough to put the champion in A or B tier. This champion's still super broken. And if you're looking to keep going with an assassin on 8.24B, pick up that LeBlanc and spam some games. So now that we're done with the S tier mids, I'm going to quickly move to the A's. The first champion I'm going to touch on is Nico. I think Nico is super strong. I think on release, it could have actually been S tier, but right now, I think it's pretty solid on the A tiers. It got nerfed on this patch, so the base numbers came down a bit on the Q. The poke is not as damaging early on, which is kind of why it was so strong. It was definitely a big lane bully, but all in all, it's still a strong champion. I think there's some counterplay. A couple of champions, things like a Kassadin, that can definitely do work into it. The illusions aren't that hard to read after you've played the champion and know what's going on. So I think the champion itself is strong, and if you're looking to pick up a new mage, go for it. But don't think it's just like brand new, has to be played, has to be broken. It's not. You're also going to see a Akali and a Aurelia in my A tier. It didn't quite make the S tier. I think these champions are definitely very strong. You'll see pro mids playing them very often. But in SoloQ, just like the Yasuo you see there, these champions are super hard to consistently have very high results. You can have a really nice pop-off game. The next game you can go 0-10 and get nothing done. They're also very hard to transition leads into team fights because all of your gold is on you and you can be CC'd up so easily because you're pretty much melee. Akali not so much, but I also saw a nerf this patch. Aurelia saw a nerf previous patch. These champions are super strong if you one-trick them, learn every matchup. But all in all, I definitely can't put them quite in the S tier, but I think they're pretty safe to say they're A tier mid laners right now. The last champion I'm going to talk about on my A tier is Echo. I think Echo is actually super strong. The problem with Echo is if you blind pick him, you're going to have a bad time. Look at the S tier mids. You have Gallo, you have Cassidin, you have Cassio, you have fucking Lissandra. Pretty much every fucking good mid right now is countering the Echo, making it super hard to play. So I think Echo is a super good counter pick, S tier counter pick, but when it comes to blind pick and consistency, I think Echo is definitely an A tier mid. Now moving down to my B tier champions, you're going to see two champs that I love that have actually been sitting on the S tier mids for a long time now, and that is Aurelion and Twisted Fate. I think both of these champions have dropped off completely. Aurelion is actually going to get buffed next patch. Twisted Fate is super meta reliant. If you look at the S tier mids right now, TF just doesn't really fit in. Aurelion gets fucking hard stumped by so many champions. These roamers are not strong right now, unfortunately. So they're sitting in the B tiers. You can still play them, but I just wouldn't really recommend it. Also moving up is Corki. Corki's base numbers on his R have been buffed. I believe Corki got a buff a couple of patches ago as well, maybe on his... I can't remember what got buffed. He got buffed a little bit as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens on 8.24B, especially with the resurgence of things like Liss, Gallo. Corki actually does pretty well. Even into the Aatrox, Corki doesn't do too bad. So, although I think he's going to be struggling a bit, I think maybe we'll see some play, especially maybe in pro play where he can kind of get that free laning phase, 3-4 items. He's still going to be able to hard carry that mid to late game. Also in my B tier mids is Pyke mid. I think Pyke mid has potential. I've seen it played a couple of times and it seems actually really decent. Good numbers, but I think he got nerfed this patch as well. I think that it's super inconsistent. You can have a good game. Next game you can do nothing. The wave clear is not the greatest, so if you get behind, you're pretty dog shit. All in all, I think you can play him if you want to. He's a super fun champion and go for it, but if you're looking for a nice climb, I'll probably look for those S or A tier mids instead. So lastly, as always, is my C tier mids, the rejects. I don't recommend playing any of these mids on 8.24B at all. I think if you look at a specific champion, you can just simply find an upgraded champion in B, A, and S tier. These champions, I mean, if you one-trick them, you can probably find results. Things like Brand, it's easy to play. It's not that complex, but all in all, these champions just lack something that the upper echelon mids in my A and S tier can provide. So that's it for my 8.24B mid lane SoloQ tier list, guys. I hope it's helped you pick a champion to climb on this patch. As always, I don't really believe that much in tier lists. I just kind of say what champions I think are super strong, but all in all, if you go ahead and master a champion, you learn all the matchups, and you know your win condition, you're going to be able to climb on it, whether it's something like a Cassidin in S tier, or even something like a Lux in C tier. If you master the champions, you'll find consistent results and you'll climb. And so until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.